The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Everyone, get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is The Angry Chicken.
Welcome to another episode of the Angry Chicken Brawl. You can catch our regular Brawl episodes live Thursday nights at 5 p.m. Eastern whenever there is, well, a new Brawl. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and if you're watching on the video, I have forgotten my video camera, my webcam at CreateCon, so actually I am the disembodied voice of the possessed villager!
Now, was your webcam the C920 that was on the little stand?
That it was, dude.
Okay, when we were walking out, I was like, should we be walking past that? Is that okay that that's still there?
It's
But
totally
then everyone was
fine.
like, I'm sure someone's taking care of that.
Yes, I totally thought I would come back and get it later, but I forgot.
We went to Big Diz the next day, and, you know,
Yep.
lots of things were forgotten. Let's
Indeed.
just be honest.
Indeed. So enjoy the photo of Possessed Villager, everyone. My webcam should be here in time for Into the Nexus, but it did not get here in time for the Brawl episode. Also with us today is Willie Does Gregor, who you heard making fun of me for not remembering to pack up my own damn web camera. And, of course, Miss Jocelyn Moffat. Guys, are you back in your respective states and or countries after a long, I would say, pretty damn fun weekend of CreateCon?
We are home. We are good. God, it's hot down there.
It is. It is. I've been, as you can imagine, I have been to the parks in Orlando many times. As anyone who grew up in the state of Florida.
It's the national Florida pastime, apparently.
Yeah.
To go to Disney World.
Yeah, I mean, we have sports, too, which are usually
All
given
right.
that moniker.
If you want to call the Miami Marlins sports, okay.
I don't, because it's all about the Tampa Rays, man. Come on, get with it. But
Oh, sorry.
My point is, I've been to those parks a lot. That was the hottest day I have ever experienced at a theme park.
The
Really?
Sunday at Disney?
Yep.
Well, that's because you guys weren't at Epcot, where we were just having delicious cocktails around the world.
Honestly,
And I did not notice the heat at all.
aside, like, if you took the money factor out of it, that sounds like a fantastic thing to do, because actually once we got to Epcot and I saw what Epcot was, I was like, wow, this actually would have been really, really fun. But I know how I felt just drinking bottle after bottle after bottle of water on Sunday. I can only, like, I think I would have died. I actually think I would have died if that was
Yeah?
alcohol instead of water.
Dude, we even got whiskey that tasted like maple syrup in Canada. It was awesome.
That does
yeah,
sound...
but I have that all the time, though. So
Whatever.
That's actually what all of the plants in Canada secrete naturally. So you
Yes.
just go outside
Yeah.
and you just tap the closest tree you can find, and out pops maple syrup whiskey.
that's actually pretty much true, because like all the trees in Canada are maples. So
Oh, okay. Lovely.
Yeah, it's that simple. There's no distilling or anything. It's alcoholic straight out of the tree.
yes.
Yep, that's how it works.
I
That's what
do
science
wanna
taught me.
Shout out to the Diamond Club for DizCon, because we did the drink around the world thing, but then when we actually got to the other part of the Disney, which is like huge and insane, and I'd never been before. Apparently, we had a bunch of people who worked there or something. We skipped all the lines. Like, we just went on like 10 rides in like an hour and a half or whatever it was. It was amazing. Like, that whole day
Nice.
was crazy.
That's awesome. We didn't get that hookup, although honestly, the lines weren't that bad. We went to Hollywood Studios.
It wasn't like a super busy day apparently.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good time. But I don't believe folks necessarily tuned in to hear about our Disney experience. But
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, but too bad because we already spent a little bit talking about it. So I hope you
Let
enjoyed
me tell
it.
you about Japan.
Let-
Let me tell you about France.
We spent a good 30 minutes in the store in Japan.
Oh my God, the Japan store was awesome. I don't think you can see it, but I have a little Pikachu behind me.
Yeah,
It's
Katie and
adorable.
I-
Oh, wait.
Katie and I took home a Meowth. So, yeah, we did. We both left with Pokemons, as my mom would call them. So,
Some Pokemans.
Pokemans. That is.
Happiest Pikachu of life ever.
Yeah, those plushes were really adorable. It took everything in my power not to leave there with the Dragon Ball Z bathrobe. That was pretty sweet, but
I think you made a mistake.
Yeah.
it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And by pretty expensive, I mean I'm pretty sure it costs as much as your first 2 drinks.
Yeah. Right. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I was surprised. Like beer was like $6.
I got 1 beer. It was $9
Really?
in Epcot.
We were clearly getting beers in the wrong places.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
My sake in Japan was $6. That seemed fine.
I got
the one thing that was expensive was in France. I got like the champagne with the blueberry stuff in it. That was
Ooh.
$14. That was the only one where I was
Okay.
like, oh damn. I didn't even like look, and then I was like, "Oh, really? Okay."
I
Like,
got
it's too late now.
I got 1 beer from Germany. It was a Dunkel. It was delicious, and it was $9 damn.
Okay. Well, actually, my Canadian beer was I think it was 12, but it came with like it was a souvenir cup one, so it was like a
Oh.
huge beer. Yeah,
You got a souvenir Canada cup?
I did.
From
I'm
not
so
Canada.
proud of you.
That's fantastic. I love that.
It's awesome. It's like a tall. It's perfect for home beers too. You know, not just Disney beers.
Well, that's sweet. Well,
I'm gonna get lots of use out of it.
hard segue. Before I move in and introduce this week's Tavern Brawl so we can actually talk a little Hearthstone, I do want to let our patrons know that we recently opened voting for what our next Patreon goal should be. And we have also added access to the AMove TV Discord channel to the $1 and above level. That can all be found over at patreon.com/TAC. If you go over there and you don't see the post, that means you are not a patron. And that's how it works. So... So go check that out. At the moment, voting, I am not joking, Dills. It is literally 50-50 split.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
True fans of the show.
True fans of the show cannot...
They're all casting 2 votes. They're like making sure that it never goes.
I'm not sure that's how it worked because I specifically told the poll not to allow that. But I love that there is a 50% split down the middle of people who want more Cluck the Meta or more arena content.
That's interesting. So, very clearly, I think in the Hearthstone community, the split is people play constructed content, maybe like 90-10 almost to arena stuff.
Yeah.
Like Frodan tweeted out, like he's talked to the Blizzard people and knows that not that many people actually play arena. But among our fans, maybe that's not the case.
I guess
That's
not.
cool.
Or maybe they're constructed fans and they want to learn more about arena. So that
this could be true.
So they can get in and
We
start.
also have like the natural thing where Jocelyn like kind of refuses to play arena. So our arena content would be perfect for people who don't play a lot of arena because we'd be introducing Jocelyn like here's some arena content.
I wouldn't
It would
necessarily
be,
say
it would be like old school Angry Chicken because it would be
Right,
back
yeah.
to where I had no idea what the cluck I was doing. So, yeah, it would be like old school. If you liked episodes like 1 through 50, that's what you're gonna get with arena content and me.
I'd be pretty
I think
close
that-
to.
But that's like perfect for shows. Like I love when there's like like when I listen to Core, you've got your Bo and then you've got your Scott who's like, hey, what does that do? And it's like perfect because the Bo is like explaining things to Scott. It's awesome. It's a good dynamic.
Somebody cap that and send it to Scott so that he can have Dill's impression
does.
of what Scott sounds like on his own soundboard. That would be fantastic.
Here's what Scott sounds like. How does that work?
I don't believe that's exactly what he sounds like, but
Oh man,
It's close though. It's
that
pretty
was
spot on.
that was pretty close.
it's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Like I used to raid lead Scott. I can. We're close like that.
Nice. Well, there's a new. I'm getting some echo from you, Dills, by the way. But
Oh really?
yep, it's
Oh,
gone
okay.
now. Happens every
Turn
now
that
and
down
then.
a little bit.
Ever
All
since you stopped using headphones.
We
it
were
happens every
partying
now and
last
then.
night. So.
Yeah.
I voted to put it back to 50-50 just so we're clear because the arena had one more vote there for a second, so I went collect the meta.
All right.
With the voting that close, I think we're gonna have to figure something out that's clever because I don't know. It's too damn close. It's too darn close. So, Dills,
People
get
want
over
it
there
all.
and put it in Arena's favor.
People want it all.
Indeed. Well, let's talk about the new Tavern Brawl this week. We have a brand new Tavern Brawl. It's a brand new single-player brawl called Storming Stormwind. And in this, we face off against an AI opponent, the entire city of Stormwind, which, oh dear God, guys, promise me we're not going to get into another long discussion about how Tavern Brawl does not explain enough to us before we get into the brawl. Can we
we've had that discussion.
Yeah.
We don't have to have it again.
Let's just say, hey guys, that conversation really applies here. Go and listen to the previous episodes. So that being said, I got in super confused. So I'm fighting a whole city. That city starts off with 1 health. It also has a weapon called Armory equipped. And when I attack it, the health just goes up. And it keeps going. And then it dawned on me, oh, the point is to just see how much damage I can do. And it just gives me a win no matter what. Huzzah!
Yep. So if you have some quests you need to clean out, this is a great time to do it because it doesn't matter what happens.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
you can sit there and pass every turn, get smashed in the face, and you'll still gain a win. So,
which is kind of crazy because I thought maybe there was some sort of like you had to do at least 30, like you had to at least like kill the city but you don't because I totally failed my first time in. I think I did 12 damage. I just had a total fail and I still got my pack and I was like, what?
Oh yeah. This brawl definitely wants you to replay it. It kind of lives or dies on your own personal interest in coming up with really absurd card combinations. So if I mean,
you can do, because you're guaranteed wins, you can do quests in here. So it's kind of good ramping up to the adventure. You can clear out all your quests. You know you're going to get that gold because you know you're going to get those wins. The quests that don't work, damage to the enemy hero doesn't work because you're not really actually doing any damage. You're adding to the health total. Obviously, it's a single player, so you can't do the play against your friend. But outside of that, you can do all of your quests, and it's pretty freaking cool. You can also level up your heroes, because again, you know you're going to get those wins. So just, play all the cards, and it doesn't matter what happens. If you're into grinding and you really want to get all your stuff, and you, for whatever reason, haven't leveled up all your heroes yet, like me with Rogue, then this is actually a good way to just grind it out.
Sure. I did actually try to come up with something that would get me a lot of damage, though, once I figured out what the hell it was. Mm-hmm. So I tried to do the infinite fireball thing. Because I was like, this will be, if I actually get this combo, then I guess I win. Win?
Win? Yeah.
But it's weird because, like, ice block doesn't really work. So when they pop your ice block, it actually ends the game. And so, like, the normal deck you would use has to be tweaked quite a bit, which I decided I didn't really care to do, so I stopped after that. I got a decent score or whatever, but yeah, it didn't, like, it's a cool idea. You're essentially just trying to rack up a high score, right, and then go on Reddit and
I was gonna say, but guess there's no leaderboard, so
no, but people have like said, I think like 1,000 is the most you can actually do, and then it just blows up or whatever.
Well, kind of. So you can do, Stormwind is capped at 1,000 health, but you can actually get a higher score if you can do more than 1,000 damage with one something. So one minion, one spell or something will send it over.
Sure.
But yeah, so you have to do
Disguised
it with
Toast
one
will get
thing.
1 million damage or whatever.
Yeah. So there's already videos all over YouTube with people showing their like 1,000,000 point scores and stuff. But it has to be done with one thing, and so Stormwind has to be at like 999, and then if with one swing of a minion you can do a ginormous amount of damage, that's what your score will be.
Nah, that's how you get it over. Gotcha.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That has been my favorite fallout of this brawl. I'm not necessarily one of those people who wants to sit around. I don't like wearing fake bread on my face and figuring out really weird things about the game. I like watching those things once they've been figured out because I find it fascinating, but I'm not the kind of guy that wants to sit there for hours on end tinkering until I find the right concoction. But I've really enjoyed just the social aspect of this brawl. We haven't received this many tweets or emails about a brawl in a while. Folks are they're having a great time figuring out what works, what doesn't work, how to break the system, like you were just talking about, Jocelyn, getting it to the maximum amount of damage that it can receive. And I find that really cool. It's refreshing. You go to the subreddit and folks are actually talking about the brawl again. This doesn't happen every week. So that's
really true. And I feel like in general, what they've done with Brawl is create something that somebody likes every week. You know, like we do get Brawl emails, and it's very rare that it's actually like 100% of the time people either like or dislike the Brawl. We're always getting people who are really into it one way or another. And so, I mean, like this week we had a listener who sent in a deck and also sent in the story that we're going to use. And, you know, like just people are so crazy into Brawl, but this week it's like all positive. Everyone see it. There's a lot of people who are just like right at first, like, okay, wait, what? But now that everyone knows what they're doing, it is 100% positive feedback with people going like, oh, this is great. You know, I can build my own decks. I can try to break the system. I can just go in and tinker with Hearthstone. So for whatever reason, this week, people really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really unique. It's, you know, I can't even think. Have we had a single player? When was the last single player Brawl we got?
We haven't had one.
I don't think we've had one.
This is the first one, period. So
the Adventures had some single player stuff, obviously.
Yeah, this is kind of like an adventure boss.
Like I'm not saying like the bosses. I'm saying like the mine shaft and stuff like that. Like, because like with a boss, it's like you're still like a health total, and you know what I mean. Like this is clearly like completely different than that. I will say, like, I love the imagination that went into something like this. I love the idea of coming up with like this. I think what Brawl could really shine doing is stuff like this. I will say this one didn't nail the fun aspect on the head for me, but I see it. It would be cool if there was a leaderboard installed though. Like if I got done and at the end it said you ranked, 3,000 and whatever, right? And then you top, you're like, holy crap, people did what? Rather than having to go outside and find that information. I would love it if that was like part of the thing.
Yeah, if they made it more
like an old school looking, video game leaderboard, and I could type in my name, three letters.
And they better, they better limit it to 3 letters so I can do ASS and think I'm real clever.
And then the whole leaderboard's just going to say ass. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I'm with you.
By the way, what are your 3 letters, guys? Do you guys have 3 letters you use?
I always just do my initials because
I was going to say that's on mine are too.
Boring.
Because when
I know.
Well, hold on, hear me out. When I hit 15 and I started watching Comedy Central late into the evening, I realized that my initials also stand for Girls Gone Wild.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought that was hilarious.
Huh?
I thought it was hilarious when I was 15 because when the commercials for that damn thing would come on late at night on Comedy Central and it would say, mail your check to, and it would say GGW and then the address underneath. I'm like, wait a minute. Ha, that's funny.
If only I lived there.
Yeah.
That is funny though.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I always put DIK because I thought that was hilarious when I was a kid. But then once I actually had the nickname Dills, it was DLS. So I'd be Dills.
Ah.
Yep.
That's good. I've also been known to do GAR, just GAR. My Orc Warrior. That was the name of my Orc Warrior for a very long time.
It's funny because I think kids are growing up today without having their 3 letters, man, and that's a shame.
It is. They're growing up today with their 140.
Oh, well, you didn't play video games when you were like a kid. Like you didn't go to the arcade, right?
No.
Yeah.
The most I did would have been bowling, but then just.
Oh yeah, bowling has the 3 letters. Yeah. But see, when I was a kid, like that was a huge deal. Like you'd go to the arcade, you'd be like, oh, dude. Like Pete got high score because you'd see like his 3 letters. Like that was a thing.
There was no arcade in my town. My town was too small.
Boring.
Oh, that's sad. I had a small town, but we had an arcade.
I had an arcade. Well, I had an arcade. It was one Street Fighter 2 machine at the 7-Eleven that was close enough to walk to. That was my arcade. But that was enough, man. I didn't need more than that. I just needed Street Fighter and a couple of quarters. Let's go.
Yep. So what we're saying, Team 5, is we think it's really cool. You came up with a new piece of UI at the end that says, congratulations, and then shows us the damage, how many turns, and how many minions we killed. But what we'd really like is for you to add another piece of UI that brings together statistics from every single player in the game across the world, whatever server you're on, and ranks them. I would love to see that. Even if it is
maybe not whatever, just server specific even.
Yeah, service whatever. But I think that would add quite a bit to something like this. I think it really would. Like I know people are talking about it outside of the game, but a lot of people don't go outside of the game. Period. So, this is very cool. But the point of it is to get a high score, right? So.
Well, and it
How
doesn't
could you
even
not
track,
have a high score screen?
it doesn't even track your own high score, which I think
I know,
would
it's just
also
gone.
be. It's just you just do it and it's like ta-da, and then it's.
I honestly don't
gone.
remember. It's
I
like
I
not that
screenshot
much.
every one, and now I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
my desktop is full of screenshots, and I'm like I don't actually really care.
Yeah, you're like, I'm never gonna use these. For
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, because it goes away. It'd be nice if it just saved it for this 1 week. Just have it there. And then, maybe, I'm sure it would be really hard to do and a ton of work and probably not worth it. But maybe when this brawl repeats, that's those stats show back up. And it's like,
Sure.
I hit like a 1,536 last time. Let's see if I can beat that, guys. I don't know what that voice
People
is.
in-
Apparently it's
People in
me.
chat say Crip got like 1 billion. That seems crazy.
I did not see this.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to watch this after the show.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's already on YouTube.
Yep. I'm gonna need
That
to,
sounds insane.
I'm gonna need to go find that. Oh wait, here it is. He posted. Let's see. Holy freaking crap! Yeah. He broke 1 billion.
I love Garrett's on the fly censorship.
That's insane. Yeah, he broke 1 billion. Here's the.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Here's
That's
the.
got to be like the best one, right? There's finally Crip's not casual again. Look at that. Finally going for world first again. Just had to Stormwind. That's all.
He's gonna be.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's a professional brawl player, and he's gonna go get sponsored by. I can't think of a silly sponsor. I don't know. Girls Gone Wild because it's out of business now.
Yeah, GGW.
There
It's
you
on the
go.
brain.
GGW. Awesome. Well, before we take an email or a crazy game story and round this thing out, let's take our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC for supporting us on this episode. Thank you to Bazam I, Sven, I love the name Sven, Matthew F, Janice E, Sean W, Ivan W, Brant P, Denim H, and Patrick P. Thank you all so much for supporting the show, unlocking these Brawl episodes so we can sit together, talk about Disney for 10 minutes, and then actually start talking about Hearthstone. And
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
we all just got back from
Yeah.
hanging out. We had stuff to catch up on.
we did. We had to recall to each other all the stuff that we did while we were together.
Well, I didn't even see you guys.
Actually,
on
yeah,
Disney Day.
yeah.
that is a really
Yeah.
good point. We did not cross paths on Sunday at all. We ended up seeing Brian and Justin and some other folks, but you had already cashed out for the evening, Dills.
That was super late though. At that point, that was like everything was shutting down.
It was
time.
so late. It was like 10 o'clock.
Well,
I know.
The park we were in, to be fair, the people who worked there were leaving. when
Yes,
left.
I'm aware
So,
of that.
It's not like I cut out of Disney at like 5 p.m. or something like that. Like we left, like people who worked there were like, and nobody else was around us. And we were just sitting, and I didn't have beer, and Brian and Justin did. So clearly they had more of an incentive to stick around for a little
I live
bit
my
longer.
life by one rule, Dills, and that's when magician and funny man Brian Brushwood invites me to stay in Epcot 90 minutes past closing time. I say yes.
You do it, huh? So I'd spent the last like 7 hours with them, so I was good.
You're
But yeah,
done.
the thing was like I would have met up with you guys many times, but we were with a group of like 20 people. It was like
Mhm.
really hard to just wrangle them and figure something out. Basically, it was like either you guys like were meeting with us or it wasn't happening. Like it was like
Yeah.
one of those things. Like I'm just following a herd of people everywhere. Fun way to do Disney though.
Mm.
By the way, go in a group of 20. I recommend for your first time.
I will say I was getting a little annoyed because every time we were done with something, everyone looked at me and said, "Well, what next, Garrett?" And I was like, "I don't
Oh,
know. I've
yeah.
been here a million times. You people
Yeah.
tell me what you want. You're new
But
here."
see, that was the thing. It was the first time I'd ever been to Disney in Florida, so I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't know what the best stuff was, so
So it,
that's why I was asking you.
yeah, it literally was no different than when I just go with Katie because Katie always defers to me, and I was like, "Oh man, everyone, I'm sick of directing. I just directed a con. I'm done."
we had the luxury of no matter what happened, like somebody had an idea, and then we'd all like put our hands in the middle and be like, Hall of Presidents, Hall of Presidents, and we'd all break and go do it. It was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
By the way, Hall of Presidents. This is the joke we did. And if you ever go with a big group, it's pretty fun. We all split off into different, like we didn't sit together, and we each picked a president. And when they mentioned their name, we cheered wildly for that president. All right, and then and then it kept happening like in weird portions of the it's just like a big
Auditorium?
Yeah,
I
sure.
hope they were
Uh,
really obscure presidents.
So yeah, mine was Benjamin Harrison, and I stood up.
That
and
is
I yelled,
obscure.
Benjamin Harrison, boys, and like everyone was like, "What the?" And then we all hissed for Lyndon B. Johnson, and then we
Like
all
you
cheered. We just booed. Yeah, we just picked one president to all boo, And then everyone around us was just like, what is going on right now?
That
Like, why
is fantastic.
why are they cheering for random presidents?
I
It was
love
awesome.
that. I love that you guys did that, and that is the thing I am the saddest that I missed out on.
We were freaking the people out around us with some of our Diamond Club antics.
These
It was a good
guys
time.
love presidents. Wow.
What? I'd never even heard of Benjamin Harrison.
I would have been really lost. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you would have got it. Yeah. Oh, if you had just been in the room, yeah.
Yeah.
The people behind me apparently, like one lady turned to her husband and was like, "I don't know what's going on," which was basically what we were looking for. That's what we were going for.
Well,
we were trying to
awesome.
confuse those around us.
Awesome. Well, Joss, is this an email or a crazy game story?
Crazy game story.
Cool. Well, let's take this crazy game story. Bumper incoming.
The whole world gone crazy.
You're in trouble now.
You got it.
You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. We also get them from our subreddit from time to time over at tacpodcast.reddit.com. Our Brawl crazy game story today comes to us from Rob, and Rob writes, "Hi, angry chicks. I sent you an email earlier today about a mass dispel priest with a theory about how I could live forever. And I did! Well, sort of. I was playing this week's Tavern Brawl with Priest with the plans of silencing a bunch of his 0 attack guys and then burning out his cards. I achieved a board of silenced 0 attack minions and a 1/1 Stormwind guy that I had put a power word glory on, so I was looking pretty good. I eventually got on the board a Sneeds, a Kel'Thuzad, an Evil Peggle, that would be Peggle the Dark Fisherman, a Target Dummy, and a Harrison. So I am wailing face, and Brode, which is what I call the AI, is just burning cards and can't do shit. I love this. This is verbatim, guys. So I am sitting there just wailing on Brode's face, and then I get a Shadow Word Death and decide to see what good old Sneeds will pop out for me. At first, I was a bit disappointed when both popped out, but then I came to a realization that I was immortal. So when it came to fatigue time, the damage would go to Balf, then he would die, then I'd end my turn, and then whoop, there goes the Balf again, looking fresh and clean, ready to get killed all over again. I was so happy. I felt like I won Hearthstone. I had visions of a 5-day beatdown to Brode's face with a ridiculous score and turn count. I would be a god among Hearthstoners, and songs would be sung of my deeds. But alas, it all came shattering to a halt on 30 fatigue when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, both of our players had been cratered and defeated. I was so sad, I thought I beat the game. So I am not sure if any regular came down has come down to 30 fatigue.
Every game, any regular game. Sorry.
If any regular game has come down to 30 fatigue damage before, but when that happens, the game just ends in a tie. I would like this to be called a 3 socks draw, my battle tag. Thank you for my favorite podcast every week. Love and good draws." Rob, that is one of the most entertaining stories we have ever received.
I love the god among Hearthstoners.
Yes.
This is how he's going to have his moment, his 15 minutes of fame.
My favorite thing was his opening, which is just a theory about Mass Dispel Priest and about how I could live forever, and I did. Well, sort of. I love that. That's fantastic.
I wonder actually if a game where both players weren't trying to do it has gone to that level of fatigue. Like, I wonder how many. Like, it's got to have happened in the past.
I feel like someone wrote in, I want to say like 6 months to a year ago, about a warrior mirror that ended after turn 90.
Yeah, because we have
But I
known
don't
that
know-
happens. But
Yeah.
like in a regular game where both people are actually trying to win, and then that happens, like that has to be super rare. Like super rare.
Oh, I'm sure it's super rare.
Yeah. Because people who try to like break the game and do weird stuff have definitely found this a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so I didn't know there was a fatigue limit. So I did know that there was an actual turn limit, but yeah, apparently 30 fatigue is it.
Yep, there's a hard limit. Multiple people in the chat are talking about it now, too. I'm pretty sure we mentioned it on a previous episode, and I just kind of forgot about it. But
yeah, we have talked about it because it's been discovered for a long time. But yeah, it's like you should consider yourself very lucky to have actually found a game where it happened, because other than trying to force it, it doesn't. No, most people aren't ever going to see that.
Yeah,
So,
and Rob, that's just
pretty cool.
That is just a beautiful, perfect turn of events to keep that game continuing to go for as long as it did. I love the infinite Balf with a Kel'Thuzad.
Yes.
That's just fantastic. So, anyways, thanks for the crazy game story, dude. Again, everyone, send your emails, send your stories at tacpodcast@gmail.com. That will do it for this episode of the Angry Chicken Brawl. It's good to be back with a new Brawl episode. Sorry for missing last week, but we were all traveling for CreateCon. Anyways, follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. You can also support the show at patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to all of our patrons. Also, huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H., Peter Williams, and King Louie. Keep those iTunes reviews coming if you enjoy the show. And you can find more Angry Chicken over at amove.tv or on youtube.com/amovetv. We've got some swag available, guys. You should go check it out. I even set up little nice website links now. You don't need a bit.ly. If you want coffee mugs and hand-etched glasses, they can be found over at etched.amove.tv. And we have a new t-shirt for sale over at shirts.amove.tv. Very simple. Good stuff.
Fancy.
So, Dills, where can folks find you?
You can check me out on Twitter at Willie Dills, twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF, and youtube.com/WillieDillsSF. I will be streaming my Wild Legend climb. That's the goal for this month. Yep. We're playing Wild Zoo right now. Really, really crazy stuff, you know. But
what happened to your crazy Reno
that'll happen.
demon?
Yeah, we're
Cthulhu
gonna play Reno Demon N'Zoth, but
that's what it was.
We gotta get out of the area where everyone's just playing aggro. So we're just gonna zoo them back, and it's all good. By the way, Zoo and Wild, very good. You know, Implosion. Remember that card? That was a good card.
I do.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember when your entire game hinged on how good your Implosion was with a knife juggler on board?
I'm apparently really bad at implosioning. I always two-plosion, but it's cool. I still win because it's still pretty good. And then, of course, Nerubian eggs. Oh, man. Remember those? Oh, God. So good.
Yep.
So having a good time doing that. The day one highlight video, which shows most of my climb, actually. It's not really that. It's not highlights. It's just the whole damn thing, honestly. That's going up on the YouTube today, so it's uploading now. So check that out if you're interested.
Ain't no one got time for that editing.
Well, I edited some. It's definitely shortened, but it's not. I mean, you're still getting the whole games, basically.
Gotcha.
You're just not getting like all that time in between where I'm sitting there not saying anything.
Nice.
I just found all those sections and cut those out.
Sweet. Jocelyn, where can folks find you?
I am Joss Plays in all the places, so that is Twitter and Twitch. You can also find me right here on AMove TV every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the Gamers In. We played We Happy Few yesterday, and man, it was freaking fun. That game is awesome.
Nice. I haven't heard of that. I'll have to look that up, figure out what it's about.
It's kind of like open world survival, but based in like a dystopian, the Germans won 1960s. And so the enemies aren't like zombies. They're actually like the citizens. It's really creepy, really cool. Check it out for sure.
I will have to go look that up because the second you're like open world survival, I'm just like, oh, I've seen a million of these. I don't, but
there's like there's quests, so it's not so sandboxy. Like there's actually a story and a thing that you have to do.
All right, cool. Well, the setting has me interested. If there was
very
dinosaurs,
Bioshocky, actually.
Yeah, if there was dinosaurs, or you started naked, or zombies, I wouldn't be interested. So.
No, it has none of those things.
Wonderful. Sounds good. You can follow me on Twitter at GarrettArt. I'll be talking Heroes shortly right here on twitch.tv/AMoveTV on Into the Nexus with my buddy Kyle Ferguson. And you can find my solo show, The Angry Nerd, on amove.tv/AngryNerd. Go check that out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back Tuesday to talk about many new Karazhan cards that have been unveiled. But until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!
Sweet. Well, that's a show.
Oh, yeah. 54%. Oh, these long-ass highlight videos take forever to upload. Okay. Even with the fiber, I'm limited by...
The fact that you can, like, Skype while uploading is pretty impressive.
Crazy.
Yeah,
because I cannot do that. That is not a thing I can do.
I'm spoiled at this point because I don't even think about that anymore. Like when I was at the hotel, I was trying to watch something and download something else, and I was like, "Oh, this can't be done." You can't do this. That was so sad.
I know.
I'm used to just doing whatever. I start a thing and then I just go do something else. You know,
It just shit just works. It just does what I needed to do.
This works, man. Damn hotel. My hotel had the worst internet, by the way. It was like I was like trying to find a spot where my iPad could go where I could actually play Hearthstone. I'm like, is it better in this corner?
Mine was. I didn't really use mine. I was either not in the hotel or asleep. I was in a very binary state during.
By the way, the last night or the night before Disney, I did stay at a loft, and Dave's room was insane.
Yeah.
That place is nice.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
It was apparently converted office rooms. It used to be an office building, and they didn't tear it down or anything. They just went into the office rooms and just turned them into hotel rooms. So that's why like the ceiling's so high and stuff.
Yeah,
because they had one of the.
Yeah, it was really nice, really really nice.
Yeah. So looks like I might be staying there again for the fireside coming up because.
Dope.
There's a really a cheaper deal than what we got coming up for that weekend. So
nice. Yeah, that place was awesome. Like I could see why it's worth paying for. That said, I was not willing to pay for it.
No.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I would think getting a group rate would be like a good deal, but I've looked since, and there's like you can just get deals through like Google that are better than our group rate.
Regular, yeah. We ran into this issue when we started doing the MGA where we were like, oh, we're going to do a tournament. Like, we got 30 guys coming to your golf course. It should all be cheaper, right? And it actually is more expensive. Weirdly.
Because then they're like, oh, man, we have to deal with a whole big group of people?
Like people have to, like extra people have to be there and plan stuff, right? So they actually charge you more because then like a guy has to set all the golf carts out like in an orderly fashion with your names on it and all this kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's actually more.
Yeah, I looked into, so you know the bowling alley that we go to every year for BlizzCon? I looked into like renting it properly so we could like get a PA system and have a microphone and do it up right. And it's like $4,000 for 2 hours.
Jesus. What?
Yeah. And I was just like,
well,
wait,
we could just show up and not do anything.
That's exactly. I was talking to the lady and I'm like, we've been there for 5 years straight and I've seen your private room. It's always empty.
Yeah.
Can't give us a deal or something? We show up every year.
How about $50 if no one's in there that
We
day?
bring over 100 people. You probably have the biggest bar tab of like the weekend that night when we come. Like, and she's like, no, it's $2,000 to rent it, and you have to match that in drinks and food. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Like, well, how about no?
I was like, how about we just show up and give you the best business of that week? And so I'm like, F it, we're just gonna keep showing up for free.
We'll just show up. It's fine.
That'll be the end of that. So that I thought I was a word I don't get to use enough. I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I was flabbergasted.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm flabbergasted just hearing this story.
Yeah, it's insane.
Very flabbergasting story.
It's a flabbergasting story. Yeah, I like that.
All right, guys, I gotta get ready for some other stuff. Good show. I'll
Sweet.
see you on Tuesday.
Have a good one, guys. Bye, chat room.